How's it going, everybody? Good afternoon. Welcome back to Trades and Gains. I'm your host, Max Pitts, and we have a midday options flow update for you. A new video series that I'll be starting here, and it's June 9th, and the whales are back on the tape, baby. From NVIDIA calls bigger than your student loan balance to Tesla puts that smell like hopium gone wrong. This is your midday options update. Strap in, it gets weird out there. Let's get into what big money's cooking today, because while you're watching CPI memes, they're moving millions. So first stop, we have semiconductors. Apparently the future is still silicon, and hedge funds are shoving serious cheddar into NVIDIA, AMD, and ASML. So as we can see up here, we saw the 142 calls leading the tape today for 6/18/2026, and that was a $30.20 average. The IV sitting at 46%. These were bought at the $144.63 spot. The volume on these is sitting at 4.95K. And somebody just dropped 15 mil betting NVIDIA hits hyperspeed by June 2026. They want Moore's Law and they want it leveraged. We also saw ASML come in. We saw January 16th, 2026, $800 calls with a $6.83 million premium drop, netting them 750 contracts with an $85 average. This was bought at the $777.54 level, and again, 750 contracts. ASML calls a year out. This is the kind of bet you make if you think lithography machines are about to become more valuable than gold. We also saw AMD in our flow, the 120 puts expiring for January 15th of 2027. We saw 4.11 million in premiums, netting them 1,800 contracts bought at the $120.66 spot. This buyer is either hedging earnings or they just rage quit Starfield and want revenge on AMD's entire product line. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Tesla, because it's Tesla Tuesday, but it's only Monday. Confusing, right? But let's dive into it anyways. So first thing we saw up here were some Tesla $300 calls. Down here for January 15th of 2027, 1.85 million in premiums spent. And we also had another one where 3.02 million in premiums were spent as well for the puts. So pretty weird, because we're seeing opposite positions in these. And with this, they got 500 contracts with a $60 average. And we also saw some 12/18, 2026 $400 calls hit the tape as well. That was a weird one that didn't make sense either. But 454 contracts at a 5780 level. You either believe in full self-driving or full send options. These traders clearly picked the latter. And then finally, the most unusual that we saw were these Tesla 285 puts that came in. 2.09 million spent at the $288.15 spot, 1,000 contracts with IV sitting at 67%. One brave soul is calling for a near-term crash. Are they hedging delivery numbers or bracing for an Elon tweet? Now, let's talk about the weird stuff, because sometimes the most popular and profitable trades come from the tickers nobody's watching. So first things up, we have LEU. We saw $2 million pumped into this. The sector is uranium and nuclear. And we were looking at the $175 calls due January 16th of 2026 that we can see down here. Now, with these, we're not talking about a normal household name, but somebody just paid $2 million for the nuclear renaissance, clean energy, or a dirty gamble in this. We also saw Snow come in with some unusual activity up here. The 155 puts due March 20th of 2026. We saw 2.76 million in premiums spent, bought at the 211.52 spot, and that netted them about 2.9K contracts with a 920 average. IV is sitting at 48%. Either someone thinks the cloud dies, or this is the nastiest hedge on tech we've seen all month. And then we also saw some IWM multi-put madness come in. We're seeing multiple prints with three big trades First one, we saw the July 18th 203 puts, 7.02 million, 246 average, netting them 28K contracts at the 213.17 spot. IV sitting at 24%. We also saw IWM 205 puts, 2.42 million for the September 19th 2025 expiration, $6.04 average, 4,000 contracts. And then we saw that twice. So IWM is lit up like Times Square. These could be hedges, straddles, or just pure bearish bets on small caps imploding. Now let's go where the normal people don't and talk about some of our unusual plays. These are the ones that either go 10x in under 72 hours or they go to zero and are pretty much worth nothing. We saw Circle with June 20th, 2025 150 calls. The premium was 288K. IV's at 197%. No open interest before this and a 352 volume. Zero OI, 190% IV, random biotech. That's what degeneracy dreams are made of. QUBT also saw January 15th, 2027 $5 puts. These saw 222K in premiums at the 1446 spot. IV sitting at 121%. Someone's buying deep out of the money puts 2 years out on a $14 stock, the stock market version of calling in a tactical nuke. Now let's go ahead and wrap this up. Big tech is still the hot topic. NVDA, ASML, and Tesla are all pulling size. Volatility is absolutely up. Multi-leg action is dominating and risk is rising. Institutional traders are rotating, some are hedging, some are betting the next tech leg up. Either way, they're not sitting still. If you're just looking at price action, that's not the way to go about this. You're behind. The real signal is options flow. Whales don't tweet, they straight print. Smash that like, drop your favorite ticker below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss these. By the way, use the code 130 at Investor Central Club to get 70% off your first month. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.